After the precision strike on terror camps in Pakistan and POK on May 7, India has launched one of its biggest diplomatic outreach efforts. 7 all-party delegations, including 51 members of parliament, senior officials and former ambassadors, will visit 32 countries and the European Union to highlight Pakistan links to terrorism after the Pahalgam massacre. 2 teams are leaving today, one to Japan and other to the UAE. Group 3, led by Sanjay Jha, will visit 5 Asian countries, while Group 4 will travel to the UAE and Africa. Before their departure, Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri briefed the delegation about Pakistan's role in terrorism. India will strongly present its zero-tolerance policy on terrorism to world leaders. An investigative agency tightened their grip on YouTuber Jyoti Malhotra. Haryana police found 2 pages for her diary that describe her crazy and colorful 10-day stay in Pakistan. In the diary, she showed affection for the people and asked for the protection of temples and the reunion of families separated since 1947. The National Investigation Agency and Intelligence Bureau also discovered her connection to a Pakistan official who was recently expelled. Notably, the 33 years old, who is known for a video about trips to Pakistan, was detained on May 16 under the Official Secret Acts and the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. A day after the Muslim side made submission, the centre told the Supreme Court that Waqf is merely charity, not an essential part of Islam. Solicitor General Tushar Mehta said Waqf board performs secular duties and even a Muslim could manage temples, challenging the Waqf by user concept. He said the centre can claim such properties. Mehta added the amendment Waqf law corrected historic issues, stressing it isn't a fundamental right and was passed after extensive consultations. Earlier violence broke out during protest over the Waqf law in West Bengal's Murshidabad. The Calcutta High Court formed 3-member committee which reported that police were inactive and absent during the violence. Following this, on Wednesday, the BJP held a press conference accusing the TMC of targeting Hindus. BJP leader Sudhanshu Trivedi claimed 113 houses were destroyed under Councillor Mehboob Alam, but police took no action. In a major success during anti-Naxal operations, at least 26 Maoists were killed early Wednesday in a fierce encounter with District Reserve Guard Jawans in Chhattisgarh's Narayanpur forest. Acting on accurate intelligence, the DRG, local police and paramilitary forces launched a joint operation. Several AK-47 rifles and explosives were recovered. The operations dealt a serious blow to the Maoists, and forces are still searching the areas for more threats. Since January, Maharashtra has reported 2 COVID-19 related deaths. The State Health Department confirmed on Tuesday both deaths happened in Mumbai and involved patients with serious health conditions. One had nephrotic syndrome and other was a cancer patient. Since beginning of the year, 6,066 swab samples have been tested, resulting in 106 positive cases. Most cases are from Mumbai, with a few from Pune, Thane and Kolhapur. Currently, 52 patients with mild symptoms are receiving treatments and 16 are hospitalized. The Gujarat Anti-Terrorism Squad arrested 2 people from Nadiyad, including a minor, for launching distributed denial of service attack on Government of Indian websites following Operation Sindoor. 18 years old Jasim Shahnawaz Ansari and a minor ran a Telegram group called Anon-Sec, sharing inflammatory content and proof of their attacks. They used hacking tools learned from YouTube to target over 50 sites in 9 months. Investigations are ongoing. In a resurfacing language controversy, an SBI manager in Bengaluru, Chandrapura, refused to speak Kannada, insisting this is India, when a customer demanding the official language of Karnataka to be used. The heated exchange, now viral, shows the customer firmly asserting Kannada first, while the manager responded, "I will speak Hindi." Pro-Kannada groups announced a protest and plan to submit a memorandum at a SBI main branch, calling for accountability and respect for regional language rights. In a major development after Rania Rao gold smuggling case, the ED raided the Sri Siddhartha Institute of Medical Science and Research Centre. The institute is linked to Karnataka Home Minister G. Parmeshwara, who is chairman of the college. Parmeshwara was not at home during the raid and was meeting others elsewhere. The ED investigating the institute's financial record due to a money trial connected to Rania Rao. The Supreme Court granted bail to Ashoka University professor Ali Khan Mahmoodabad, but criticized his social media post on Operation Sindoor. The court stressed the importance of responsibility in exercising free speech. Ali Khan was arrested on May 18 over Operation Sindoor post. Pooja Khedkar, an ex-IAS trainee, shocked the nation with allegations of frogging physical disability certificates, changing her surname and faking backward class status to clear IAS exam. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court granted her anticipatory bail. She was warned not to tamper with evidence while the investigation continues. After weeks of rising heat, India is now preparing for heavy rains. Monsoon is expected to reach Kerala in 4 or 5 days. Red alert have been issued for Kerala, Karnataka, Goa, Konkan and coastal Maharashtra including Mumbai. Orange alert have in Raigad, Nasik, Pune, Satara and Kolhapur, while Uttarakhand has a yellow alert. Meanwhile, Delhi is witnessing 40 degrees Celsius temperature with 43% humidity, causing high power demand. On May 14, Akshay Gupta, a 30-year-old Indian origin entrepreneur, was fatally stabbed by Deepak Kandel, also Indian, on a moving bus. Kandel stabbed Gupta in her neck and calmly left the bus. The CCTV showed Gupta sitting quietly before the attack. Gupta, a rising health tech innovator and Footbit co-founder, was declared dead at the scene. Kandel was arrested and confessed, now facing first-degree murder charges. Building on early efforts on strengthening U.S. missile defense, President Donald Trump on Tuesday unveiled the $175 billion Golden Dome system to shield America from Chinese and Russia threats. Announcing from White House, Trump confirmed the final design and appointed U.S. Space Forces General Michael Gettlein to lead. In a major development, banned terror outfit Lashkar-e-Taiba co-founder Amir Hamza was critically injured in an accident at a Lahore residence and is undergoing treatment. Sources confirmed the injuries was accidental, dismissing social media claims to gunshot wounds. The US-sanctioned terrorist Hamza once led Lashkar-e-Taiba's publication efforts and founded Jaish-e-Manfaqa after distancing from LET in 2018. Despite Pakistani crackdowns, he reportedly maintaining the ties with LET.